I mean, our wives think we're crazy.
No,
There's
they
no
know-
doubt
they know-
about it.
they
Yeah,
know we're
my kids
crazy.
think the same thing. Dad, you're only talking about wood all the time. What's wrong with you?
Today on In the Woodyard, I'm here with Tony, and we're going to talk all about Tony.
Really?
Yes, here we go. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Tony because Tony is starting his own YouTube channel that you guys are going to want to see. And it is called
Tony's Cool Tools.
Because You Have Tools.
I have tools.
And what do you think makes you qualified to talk about tools?
Well, for the last 25 years, that was my business, selling tools.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good channel. You guys are going to want to see it because he knows his stuff. And not only did he sell them, he presented them. You all got all kinds of experience in the industry, and you know what you're talking about.
I have had companies that invested a lot of money in me, and I was fortunate and blessed to be able to be in this industry. And I
Cool.
have a passion for it.
Cool. So how did you get started in the tool business?
You know, it's ironic. You know the old saying of when God closes a door, he opens a window? That's exactly what happened to me. I worked for one of the largest window manufacturers in the U.S., and they were downsizing, and I was part of the downsizing.
Nice.
So I was out of work for about 4 to 5 months, and at the end of my 4 or 5 months, I was sweating bullets, and I got a letter from a company that wanted to interview me for tool sales. And it wasn't actually tool sales, it was teaching tools.
Oh, cool.
So ironically, I was a president of a woodworking club in Rockford, Illinois, and that's how they got my name. And I flew to Louisville, Kentucky, and they interviewed me. And I gotta say, I got my dream job.
Wow.
My job was traveling around the United States teaching people how to use tools.
Neat. That sounds like fun.
Way cool. So that was
And
phenomenal.
what was the name of the company?
It was called Vermont American. Most people may not know it, but you've used a lot of their products because they were the largest accessory tool company in the U.S. They sold circular saw blades, jigsaw blades, router bits, router tables, and they were all branded for many other companies besides Vermont American. Companies like Sears, some of the bigger companies like DeWalt, they were all private labeled on the products.
Oh, neat. So a lot of woodworking equipment.
It was woodworking and metal. So if you needed a hole, you used a drill bit. If you needed to cut something, circular saw blade, jigsaw blade, reciprocating saw blade. If you needed to put an edge on a board, you used router bits.
Right.
So.
Right. So now you were telling me you actually were on QVC.
I was a host on QVC selling router tables and router bits.
So what was that like?
A very fast pace. Actually, they're the predecessors of Amazon, basically. Mm-hmm. QVC was quality, value, and convenience.
That's what it stands for.
Yep. And the thing there was, that was the first home shopping channel.
Right.
So everyone, you went down the rabbit hole on there because they had all different kinds of products.
Right.
So when I would go in there, I would set up my tools and everything, and I would do live demonstrations. So you really can't make mistakes when you're doing something like that.
No, you better get it right the first time.
Yeah, because your product sales, everything is gauged by seconds in sales. And if you're not good, you're out of there within.
So did they set you like a limit that you had to have so many
Yes.
sold per minute? Or?
Yep, actually per minute, yeah. And it was, and you wore an earpiece and you were listening to the person telling you speed it up, slow it down, and everything. And you only had 3 to 5 minutes to sell your products.
So then, with the QVC thing, what happened with that? Where did that go?
Well, that was only part of it. As I mentioned, I flew around the country teaching people how to use tools, and I did the QVC. But then, as would have it in that time frame, large corporations started buying smaller corporations.
Oh, sure.
So we were purchased by one of the larger companies. You may know them, Bosch.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
That's
Bosch with
German
appliance. Company? Yes, it is a German company.
So now, when you were like this, you were demonstrating and showing. You were doing consumer shows or trade shows for buying groups, like companies that would come in and.
Well, I usually did retail.
Oh, okay.
So my biggest customer 20 years ago, which was the biggest customer for everyone, was Sears.
Oh, sure.
If you had Sears, they were before Home Depot, Lowe's, all the big box stores.
So what you were doing essentially was the same thing that other people on YouTube do now. You were demonstrating products that you worked for the company, you were showing it, but now that gives you really good experience and credentials for doing YouTube, the same thing basically.
Well, that's why we have so much fun with it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun working with power tools.
Yeah, and now you can reach a much bigger audience and teach more people than what you were doing before. So that's why he's uniquely qualified. That's why when he called me, not even a year ago.
Yeah, it's been almost a year. It's
Close
our
to a
anniversary.
year.
So what are you going to buy me?
I'll send you the turd you sent me.
Oh, okay.
Or a piece of gum, maybe.
Oh, again?
Again. So then you worked for Bosch, and then what happened after that?
Well, after Bosch purchased Vermont American, they had a portfolio of brands that expanded for me, which was fantastic. Tool accessories are nice. You know, you have a drill bit, you have a saw blade, but the sexy part of the business is the power tools. And now that Bosch purchased us, I was able to sell Bosch power tools. I was able to sell Dremel, which was another one of our brands, Skill, Rotozip, and Freud.
Oh, cool.
So
Those are all
those
really
were
good
all
brands, yeah.
premier brands, and I was blessed to have those.
Now,
And
you were telling me, like you say, the tool itself is the sexy thing, but that's just the get in the door thing. What you want to do is get the people hooked, because the real money is accessories.
absolutely, that's where it's like anything else. It's the Gillette model. Give away the shaver, but they have to come to you for the blade.
Right. Well,
And that's
yeah.
everyone uses that same business model.
Which is why so many people now that have products that are similar, like say there's 20 companies that make drills, but to have the battery packs now,
That's
once
it.
you're committed to a system, then you got to buy their other battery packs, then their upgrade for their battery packs, and then there's special attachments that only fit their product. So I get it.
Well, it's like anything else. The industry has evolved. I came in when everything was corded. You had to plug it in. Then the first power tool came out, and it was one of the Skill twist drills.
That was one of the first ones?
That was one of the first ones out there. Then Makita came in with their 9-volt system.
But that was it? But when that Skill came out, it wasn't a battery pack. It was built in.
It was built
You
in.
just plugged it in. And
That's
charged it.
correct.
Yeah, I had one of those.
Correct. Everyone did. That was the most successful marketing program that Skill offered back then. Yeah, it was phenomenal. It was, but then it's exploded, and even now, like you pointed out, batteries. There were really only 2 manufacturers of batteries in China, and whoever got involved with them, whether it was Makita, DeWalt, Dremel, whoever, you know. So now that whole industry has changed.
Right, and the technology has really evolved, and it's going to keep getting bigger and better. I poo-pooed the whole battery-powered tool thing because I had some of the other ones.
I agree.
Like, you just get going on a project, well, it's dead. Now I got to go get my other drill, plug it in, and do it the right way with some actual power. But now it's changed.
Now it's changed dramatically. Everyone wants that convenience of cordless tools, whether in any industry.
Well, the big thing was whoever came up with, the interchangeable batteries that you could swap through a system, that you could have, your drill, your router, your whatever it is, your jigsaw, have 5 or 6 different tools, and have all the batteries work on all of them, so you can always have your stable of batteries, so you can just keep swapping on a new one and put the charger on, and it's just, that made a big difference.
Yeah,
definitely. I can
definitely.
see why people, once they get committed to a system, they're on the system. The problem I see as a consumer, that I always think like, it works good this year and next year, but then in 2-3 years it's a piece of junk because somebody's got something so much better. You want to get the whole new system.
That's once you're committed to a battery platform, you're stuck.
Right.
Unless you have multiple different tools. If you have a DeWalt tool, you can't use Makita batteries and so forth. And even in the DeWalt, that series changes every 2 years because manufacturers want you to buy the newest and the latest and the greatest. So,
which is great because they're improving the product all the time.
They are. And as you can see on cordless, there are a multitude of anything from a grinder to a circular saw, and they have a lot of power. They're very good.
So then who were you actually selling to? Who are the customers? What kind of people?
Well, originally I was blessed to work on the #1 company, and that was Sears. And it's so sad to see a company like Sears and the Craftsman brand go down the tubes. I mean, those are legendary tools that our grandfathers' fathers used back in the 1800s.
Right.
And it's sad. That was the largest. That was the largest company or the largest brand that I was involved in. But as far as customers were concerned, my customers were like the farm and ranch stores. I took care of them. Ace, True Value, Do It Best. Those were my customers.
You say Menards too?
Yes, Menards is a local Midwest. They have about 40 locations, and they're a big box store, and they compete with Home Depot and that.
Yeah.
But we separated our divisions between the big boxes and then the secondary stores like the farm and ranch stores.
So didn't you, like you're saying, you were selling to those stores, so you would go to like the purchaser of
power
stuff,
tools.
and you would do a presentation. And,
correct. I'd
and
bring
you're taking
him
massive orders then.
Right. What you would do there is you'd go to the buyer, whether it be the Menards buyer for power tools, you'd make your presentation for him, and we all fought for shelf space.
Oh,
That's the number one thing. You wanted that, the best shelf space.
The end caps.
End caps, eye level, all of that. No different than the grocery business.
Right. A lot of people don't realize that everything in every store is there for a reason.
That's it, and it's a science.
You go to that checkout. All those items right there are the highest profit items.
The cash wraps are the best.
Is that what they're called?
The cash wraps, yes.
Oh, okay.
That if you can have a pencil display in there, it sells hundreds of thousands.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know this, that aren't involved in marketing or in sales or in running a sales type business. When you're in a store and you're frustrated because there's only 3 checkouts open, and
there's a reason.
And there's 4 or 5 people standing in each line, they want that.
Exactly.
Because if they don't want someone waiting at a cash register for someone to come up, even though as a consumer that's what you want, they want 2 to 3 people there at all times, because the lines, you can see it's not that deep. You can wait a minute or two, but they know that
it's a psychological thing.
That minute or two, you're standing right there and you got all that stuff
impulse
around
buying.
You. It's like, oh, I could use a pack of gum. Oh, yeah, I need some Visine or
whatever it is.
I need a candy bar. it's right there, and that's high profit stuff.
Well,
right there.
And unfortunately, that's also caused another problem, and that is home shopping. Amazon has done it so that all we do is pick up our phone or our laptop and just order it. We don't even go.
Right, and that's why when you're on Amazon or any other supplier, when you go there and you click on, let's say you're going to click on chainsaws, just because we happen to be in chainsaws, the next thing that comes up when you're looking is that people what ordered this item also bought this item.
Exactly, and you see the 3 items.
They're making suggestions at all times.
And you take those suggestions a lot of times.
Yeah, or the accessories that go with this item. And it's, yeah, they know what they're
For
doing.
sure.
They know what they're doing. So how did you get into Firewood? What's the whole deal with that? I mean, because that's kind of how we got together.
Well, it's ironic. Living in Illinois, I lived in a subdivision in a small house, so I didn't have a lot. My house was filled with tools, but I always loved cutting firewood. And the way we got started is my other 2 passions are hunting and fishing. So there wasn't much hunting land available in Illinois, northern Illinois. So what a number of us did was we have a club up there, and what we did is we went to the farmers and we traded them labor for hunting privileges. The number one thing that all the farmers wanted was firewood.
For themselves?
For themselves, to burn in their house. So that was the number one thing. Naturally, second one was putting hay, unfortunately, in July in the hay mounds. Yeah. Oh, that was a killer. Yeah. Fixing fences, odd jobs throughout the farm. We do anything.
Right, yeah, extra hand,
just an extra. And it was a great marriage. We had over 5,000 acres that we were able to.
That's awesome. I tell people all the time, the best time to get hunting properties, not during the hunting season, knock on the door. Don't go there with your camo. Go there someday when you're driving in spring of the year, best time, spring of the year when the farmers are out in the fields. If you see them by the side of the road, if you want that property, stop and talk to farmers. Say, hey, I've always wanted to work on a farm and help out. And don't go, hey, can I hunt on your land? Go and say, I've always liked being outdoors. I envy you being able to work outside. Would you ever like a hand sometime?
That's it.
They will jump at the chance, and that's how you get in. Do not ask anything about hunting. just go and work and just say, this is really fun. I like picking rocks.
Oh, definitely.
I like fixing fence. When can I come back again? What works for you? Just let me know, or here's my number. Build the relationship first. Don't go asking first. Give first. Always give first.
100% agree with you.
And then down the road and say, yeah, do you do any hunting here? This looks like good deer hunting territory. I do a little hunting. That's how you do it. And don't ever ask to hunt there.
That's it.
Because the guy says, well, you're working here. You're the only guy that works here. My boys don't even help out. You're going to be hunting here this fall. That's how it happens.
That's it.
So there you go, a little tip. Okay, so what's next?
So anyways, about 10 years before I retired, I had dreams about a wood shop. You know, that was my ultimate, was a wood shop. Well, unfortunately, after I retired and built my pole barn and everything, my passions turned to firewood.
How did that happen?
I don't know. It's just, well, I got an outdoor wood boiler. That was the start of it. And then next thing you know, it was getting more firewood, cutting more firewood, and you know, it just snowballed from there.
So when did you start watching YouTube? When do you think that happened?
Oh, Wrangle Star was probably the #1 person I did over 10 years ago.
Oh,
and I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah,
and then I looked, just like you, Outdoor with the Morgans, Mike, and Joe's Premium Firewood, watching him, you know, a lot of the other ones. But yeah, you could go down the rabbit hole, as you know, watching all those. But they set something off in you, you know, a passion, you know. Yeah. I see many comments on yours that I'm living through you, vicariously through you. Yeah. And that is true.
I'm at work, I'm bored, so I watch you work.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
You know, and I get a lot of people, oh, you got so many tools and everything. I've collected them over many years.
And something I can tell you guys, because I've seen his collection, you're going to want to see more. It's awesome. The way you got a lot of the tools, you're at trade shows.
Correct.
You were telling me you're there presenting, and a lot of times you're flying in and stuff is shipped ahead, and you got to get rid of it. So
that's it.
Naturally, what do? Hey, I'd like that tool. You want to trade?
Well, that's and as I told you, accessories aren't sexy. When I went to trade a drill bit, not many people wanted it. But when I went in there with a drill, everyone wants to. And when you have a name brand like Bosch, everyone wants to talk to you on that. So, yeah, we were able to, I was fortunate to either get stuff at a discounted price, because they're at trade shows, manufacturers don't want to take the product back because of the shipping costs. So they dispose of it at the site.
And it's not new either.
No, because it's used.
Right.
Anytime you take it out of the package, you got to sell it as used. Right. So a lot of that. But the other equipment, as I told you when we first started working videos, is I wanted to do a one-man operation. So I can't count on too many people. So I moved to central Wisconsin. I know nobody there. So it's only me. So that's why I got the equipment that I have, so that I could work on it by myself.
Right. And that's one of the coolest things about YouTube. People ask me all the time, you know, why did you do it? What do you get out of it? Well, obviously, I'm starting to make some money on it. But the #1 thing I got was getting to have some new friends. Tony, like you got to meet Dick.
Yeah.
Where we did cutting there. I got invited to go, you know, out to New Mexico with Jeremy.
That's
hunting.
it.
I've got to know Andrew Eastman, and now I got the processor. I mean, it's just opened up a whole new world. And it's just phenomenal, because you get people that have similar interests, similar type of lifestyle.
Well, we have all the passion for the same thing. Yeah. I mean, our wives think we're crazy. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, my kids think the same thing. Dad, you're only talking about wood all the time. What's wrong with you? You know,
I get that too. My dad asked, like, how can you do a video every day? What the heck do you talk about? And I was just talking about this just the other day with someone. I said, you know, they were asking me, is it getting harder to come up with ideas? It's actually getting easier.
Yeah.
Because my group of people that I have to talk about it with is getting bigger and bigger, because the reach is getting bigger, and people are calling me saying, hey, I got this piece of equipment. Do you want to do a video? Hey, I have a different kind of operation. I do only this. Want to come see it sometime? And you called me and said, hey, I've got tools. You want to see them?
That's it.
Yeah, so I went to Tony's the first time last year, and it's like, I pulled in the driveway, and he had a display set. Like, I mean, I was walking into a gold mine. I wanted to market myself to you. I don't know if that's a good thing.
I know.
So what are you going to talk about on your channel then?
Well, Tony's Cool Tools will have several things. We're going to start out with anything and everything that is in the wood yard. How to do firewood.
Right.
because that's my passion. However, there are so many different things within the fire. Naturally, I'm going to go from basics, where I started out with, just like you, a box store splitter, and I have a UTV or an ATV that I would pull the wood in, a little cart that I had, and then progressively tractors, specifically the Coyote tractors, the splitters, access,
yeah.
the trailers, dump trailer versus utility trailer versus getting it out of the woods, hand tools associated with it, winches, winches, both portable winches and winches that are on the tractor to pull stuff out of the woods. Anything that will make your job easier.
Cool.
That's the first thing.
Well,
and then I will expand to the other parts of tools, whether it's the Fiskars cutting tools, Fiskars. There are so many tools that Fiskar had when I left the company, or when I was working for the company, that are extremely interesting.
Right, yeah. That all sounds great. And that's why I go to YouTube. That's why a lot of people go to YouTube, is how do I do my job better? What tool's best for what I want to do? What do people really think about it?
Exactly.
Because I'm not saying what you did was like bad or anything, but when you're being sold by a salesperson, it's different than somebody that is either a friend or someone that you have experience watching, that you can trust to give an honest opinion.
Well,
And that's what people go to YouTube for.
I'm doing is, as I pointed out to you, I don't have any alliances. No one's sponsoring me. I don't get free tools anymore.
Not that you wouldn't be interested.
No, that is true. But for me, if it works, I'll use it. I will also promote it. I will tell you my honest opinion, and I only have my integrity.
Yep,
and
that's all you can go with.
That's
you
it.
got to be honest with people and have integrity. That's the key word that I try to. I don't want to be brutally honest, but if something's a piece of crap, I'm going to tell you. If something works really good, I'm going to tell you.
Exactly.
And that's what people want. They want the truth either way.
Well, we only have our reputations, and that could be soiled real quickly.
Yep. You and I both have watched and listened to motivational speakers over the years.
All the
talk
time.
about that. Zig Ziglar's one of my all-time heroes.
Yep.
And I think one of the phrases he said one time was that your integrity is a valuable thing, and the trust people have in you is so valuable that once you break that trust, it's almost impossible to get it back.
Exactly. Yep.
It's much harder to keep it than to lose it. And it's hard to always be straight and truthful, because most people have a hard time with the truth.
Well, as we all know, a good salesman can sell pretty much a bad item easily.
Yeah, and people make comments to me on my channel. They say, "Oh, you could sell ice to an Eskimo."
Yeah.
Only because I believe in what I'm doing, and because I've used it. But some of those people haven't seen some of the products I've tried that are crap, and I just don't buy this. This is junk. I mean,
That's it.
It might work for some people, but it's not for me.
I agree, 100%.
Well, I wish you luck.
Well, thank you.
I'm sure you're going to do fantastic. Those of you that have been watching my channel for a while, you've seen Tony quite a few times. He does a great job here, and I'm sure you're going to like his videos. The name of his channel is
Tony's Cool Tools. It was supposed to be my new best friend, but that was already taken.
Because I changed best friends.
Exactly.
We've had a really good time together. Hopefully you guys will enjoy watching some of Tony's stuff. I'm sure he's going to do a real good job. So go to his channel, check it out. That's all we have for today.
Well, just remember, we're still going to be collaborating a lot.
Yes.
So that's not just because I have a channel, you won't see me with Chris here. We have a lot of fun working together.
Yeah, it's too much fun. I'm glad he's doing this, but we'll probably maybe even do some of the same things, but in a different way on our channel, so that you can get two opinions or two different uses of things. So that'll be kind of neat too. So now that's it for today, folks. You know what to do. Poke some buttons, hit them all, hit the like, subscribe, share. Tomorrow, I'm going to be back in the woodyard. Tony will be on his channel showing you good stuff, so check it out. It'll be cool. Between now and tomorrow, get outside, get cutting.
Good night, Irene.